right within.
And we're live. The
That was
Geek
just
is
what I waiting
busy
for you.
tweeting things out, and Isaiah is still riding the high of everyone telling him how
And
awesome
jump.
his cosplay was.
Thank you.
And
Well,
your mic is really like loud for some reason.
It is really
my
loud. Okay, I will
Just a touch. You just like
move
turn
it
down
a
a
little
touch.
bit further away from me.
Yes, exactly. There we go.
There we go.
well, yeah, I would say there is a high, but I didn't win. I didn't win.
Oh,
Aw.
I lost to a medieval knight, like I think just a generic medieval knight, and then I also lost to a woman who,
Let me guess. Was it a white knight?
well, he was a white guy as a knight, but but I also lost to a woman who I guess had a Beetlejuice outfit on. Even though I really wasn't like, I mean, I've never seen Beetlejuice, just to be honest, so I'm kind of unfamiliar with the outfits that they had in that movie,
It's a
but
Tim Burton movie, so she was a goth girl.
yeah, so I lost to those two, which is fun, which is kind of strange because one of the judges actually was dressed up as a Beetlejuice character, so there's some biasness there.
Oh
that's
my
always
god.
biased, honestly, with like cosplay competitions, honestly, because like judges will and I don't participate in these sort of things and with like at anime cons of like cosplay competitions, but honestly, that's what it comes down to. If the judges is a huge fan of said like the anime property or like video game property or whatever, and they think you did a good job with that cosplay, it will go to like their preferences as well too. Now, if there's multiple like shows that they are huge fans of and multiple people with like really great like costumes at the same level and something like that to those things. I'm sure it'd be a hard thing, but there's usually is always like drama about like the cosplay competitions at anime cons from what I've heard from like others because like well people are disappointed when they don't win.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also I
And it's
also
not like a cat show or dog show where the people participating have a lot of money and therefore they have to be treated fairly.
yeah. Well, I also lost to a guy who was like dressed up as an Amazon drone.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he put together like some he took some like wooden, I guess, 2x4s, like I guess cut them down and like made like a like I guess what a drone would look like and put little like RC airplane propeller spinners on it, and he won there, and I'm like, it took me 7 months to do this and I spent how much so much money, and it's like I
Hmm.
lost to the most generic, bland ghetto cosplays I've ever seen, so it's like
Yeah.
that's
And like
why
Kirok.
I was actually about to go today, like, cause I actually have my woke my Star Trek the Wrath of Khan cosplay, which is right over
That
there.
you're gonna be Admiral Kirk?
I was just gonna be some generic woke like Starfleet person.
Well, but you're
Uh,
gonna make Starfleet woke because Starfleet doesn't have black people in it.
it didn't.
No, never, obviously.
I thought Aurora. Well, I thought Aurora was
No, 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 you're misremembering. She was a waitress.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
she was the secretary for the like ship.
Mhm. Obviously, well, maybe not obviously. I'm being somewhat facetious. I'm playing the role of the racist white guys who always complain whenever Star Trek goes woke
Oh,
again.
you mean like the Dave Cullen types, or like, I don't like Star Trek. It's woke. It's
Basically,
woke.
everyone other than Steve and Jesse.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And
I,
like
I wanna
well,
I wanna work with I have a there's like I have a fantasy of working with Jesse on a movie.
mm. Oh,
Hmm.
she just like published a movie
Finish.
recently on
On a
Nebula.
movie. Nothing more. On a just doing a movie. Nothing. I said fantasy. It sounded weird.
No, no, no.
No, no,
It's
a daydream. No, I have those things as
There
well
are
too.
platonic fantasies.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I do think Jessie is pretty attractive.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And
Well,
she's getting
she's a
married
blonde girl.
too.
She's your type.
No, yeah, blonde white girl too.
Keanu Reeves is my like male, is like the male equivalent to something like that.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. I am not gay, but for Keanu Reeves, I will be gay.
Or platonic fantasy, if that's what you were talking about, Isaiah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, like romance.
What does anyone have a black gay crush? Anyone?
Denzel Washington. No, Idris Elba.
Okay. No one's gonna say Terry Crews.
No, Terry Crews can be up there as well too.
Hmm. Will Smith, Denzel
Yes.
Washington, Chiwetel Ejiofor,
Okay.
Mm.
Those are
Idris
some
Elba.
good.
Yep. He's
Winston Duke, I can see.
James August Richard. There are a lot of fantastic black actors out there.
Avery Brooks. Come on, Avery Brooks.
Yep.
Let's see.
They'll never be given, the actual leading roles, except in that one Chris Nolan movie, Tenet.
Yes, well, yes, Will Smith did smack Chris Rock, but you know what? It was just one slap. That's the thing. When that happened, I was like, people. I was hearing, saw the discourse the next day. I didn't watch that Oscars like a presentation like live, but it's like next day, like, what is this about Will Smith and Chris Rock? And some people are like Team Will Smith as well too. And then when I finally like listened to Democracy Now, listened to my news podcast, and found out the full context of like the slap. It's like, oh. I can understand why Will Smith slapped Chris Rock then.
You don't talk about a black woman's hair.
And it's also, again, it's like, it was just one slap, and he walked back down, and he stated the whole reason for the slap: keep my damn's wife,
Keep my wife's name out your damn mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
want to point out that the Academy kicked him out after 3 days, but it left what's his name in Weinstein for 3 fucking decades.
Yeah, exactly.
Racism.
A little
Exactly.
bit.
Don't get me wrong, it's a great actor, but you don't result. Okay, I
Black
don't
men don't
understand you,
get
Kirok.
justice.
I don't understand you, Kirok. I don't understand you. I don't see how people can be this. Maybe for some people, violence is never the answer, so they're just always so averse to violence, as a word too, that like when they see like just a glimpse of it, they just like, oh my god, he's the person. Oh. And like that was being hyperbolic there as well too, but it's just like no, that was like take that many people did had about those things. So like, and also it was just like two multimillionaires that like one slapped the other as well too, and I think of like the Chris Rock was kind of like being a bit of a bully in that sense because that's what he is in some way as an insult comic as well too. And there's like a thing about like punching in down as opposed to like punching up as well too that we talked about a lot before, which is why some of the very unfunny comedians complain about the cancel culture or the woke culture nowadays that like you can't tell a joke anymore without offending someone. It's like, okay, how about tell better jokes? Or as Marty Athley would say to those people as well too, okay, okay. Yeah, okay. Tell us if you believe you can't tell a joke. Someone, what's your black joke? Tell me your black joke. You have one, don't you?
Oh,
And
that
so that
joke is so dark it's about to get shot by a cop. That's my black joke. Meta.
Yeah.
I,
Yes,
I I
exactly.
don't think I could find any competition with that. That is a pretty funny black joke.
Hey, Daddy Portal, you can't hit someone. You call the cops on him. That's how we do it here.
Mhm.
And I think Daddy Portal was like kind of making a reference, that joke in reference to you, Kirok.
Mhm.
But like Daddy Portal can like explain that if she wants to or not. It's good to see you.
Or,
So yeah.
but yeah, I didn't win. Kind of a
Yeah.
bummer, but what you actually the prize actually wasn't even that like grandiose. I think that all the winners got like medallions and like they got like movie tickets or
But it's
something.
nice to be recognized for your hard work.
Yeah. What you gonna? That's why I don't really do cosplay contests. Like,
It's
I don't
racial
I don't even really
politics.
think they even I don't know. I feel like it's
Yes,
more
it is.
Oh dear. Is the stream
No,
frozen?
I'm still. Oh, okay. We can still hear you.
No,
Okay.
I'm just worried about because I saw the
Mm.
YouTube was buffering. Okay, no, it's still going. Good.
Yeah, we didn't lose connection with the stream, so that's good. Yeah, because yeah, that does suck if you just like totally lose connection to like the stream or OBS disconnects on YouTube because like on Twitch is fine because like you just like it goes to the same URL, the same web address as well too. So even if you stop streaming, then like start streaming again, like you probably have to tell some people to refresh or like some people knows that you go offline for a second or a minute or so and then like come back. Yeah, the life comes. But like if you completely disconnect, like I have when I lost my internet, for example, while streaming as well too, on YouTube, you just have even if you go to like broadcast to OBS and OBS broadcast to restream for me when I like stream to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time, YouTube has to create a whole new event as well too, a whole new live event, and then the people who were watching then have to like go you have to send them over to like the new live event. Yeah, you're right. Hello, Mario. Hello, how you doing? Is my face a beard farm? Maybe. Yeah. It'll take longer than a week for me to go full CC top as well. How you doing, Mario? How you doing?
And also
Um,
remember, Marty, it's been 2 weeks since you saw the geek, unless you've been twitching.
well, yeah. I was like Twitch streaming yesterday. I was Twitch streaming on Tyranny Day, on Traitors Day, on the 4th of July. I don't
For
know
the
what.
day we fought back against the aliens. He's calling it.
That's right, in that Roland Emmerich film in 1994. We were supposed to have our like British friend on Mithril who has some like contact. I meant I kept sending messages to like remind him like yesterday and think this morning. No, I didn't send one this morning, but someone yesterday and send him the link. But like I don't know if he's like online available. So. Uh, pulling the audible. Marty, are you in a good position to be able to join the stream or something like that? Like you're at home or like in a good spot to like talk and something like that. Or maybe even you
Oh,
wait a minute,
yeah.
Dataport. The
Well,
Dataport
we'll
told.
say a data port doll. Calling back to a previously discussed topic. Yep, Isaiah brought back Will Smith. Yes, that's what they call a callback. That's Isaiah is a professional in the industry.
Don't ask me why Dataport thought, because like there's a part of me that thinks you're British or in the UK. I might be incorrect on that. Sorry for like incorrectly assuming as well too. Because you know what that happens when you assume you make an ass out of you and me. But yeah, I was like hoping to really talk about like the UK politics here with like Mithril, but Morty,
See,
if
I'm
you
going to
are
assume data port
available,
doll is. I want to say Canadian. I'm going to go specifically from Toronto. That's where I'm putting my nickel down.
again in a bit, how much longer are you gonna be? We're gonna
About an hour and 10 minutes.
yeah, exactly. Hey, and just for a little bit, and it also to like talk with you as well too. Sorry for this being like spontaneous and last minute though. Should have probably planned this better in case Mithril was going to be able to join us. But yeah, you were both
Halfway
halfway
correct. We
correct. I was
split the
New
difference.
England. Okay. Not England, New England, not Canada, close to Canada, near Canada. Okay, yeah, so like but yeah, we'll yap a bit at the meantime as well too. So what is so I'm confused. I confuse everyone's geograph with the detectors as well too. i I don't know why, but I don't know why part of me thinks England for some reason, but yet like you were on like Steve Shive's like member and patron hangout last time, and it's just like hey, your accent is just like wait a minute, wait, no, that's not an English accent as well too. Or maybe she like dropped in like a English edge of it and it has a mid-Atlantic accent somehow, something like that, like Willow in like the movie Willow. Because Warwick Davis is a British person, but he had to like have speak with a mid-Atlantic accent without the British edge in order to like for it's like well he's not British in that film because he's not British. Will's not, and but yet it's also
Oh, how
not
dare
quite
you say
American.
Willow's not British? That's racist against dwarfs.
He's an Elwyn, but yeah, Warwick Davis a dwarf. Yes. Let's see. So
Oh,
Yeah, so other than like Isaiah Taylor's like unfortunately did not winning the competition for
But
like
wait.
yeah, go ahead.
I didn't win the competition, but but winning the competition wasn't well, it was, but it kind of wasn't because the main prize is me wearing it to the Kennedy Space Center riding the shuttle launch experience. That's the main prize.
Yes,
That's
the
what
experience,
that's
that's what.
because they're gonna appreciate it more than the people here at Infinity Con did. I guarantee you.
Yes. That is for sure. Wearing like the guy blue for play at like the Kennedy Space Center. Yeah, no, that is definitely something to experience, especially with all the people there that like loving it as well. Some of my words were pronounced lean English, and I was on Kev's stream a couple of times. So I used to like rip on like Sargon Con a lot. So it maybe is like guilt by association. That's probably how I assumed that you were British, Daddy Portal, is because of like you hang out with Kevin quite a bit and like others and stuff like that, and so it's because of that association that I'm making confused as well too. But yeah, okay, that's cool. Okay, New England, not England. The New England, not the old England. The England that like separated from like the rest of England, because and yeah, because that's we can talk about that. How
I heard the revolution was a tax revolt here in America was a tax revolt. But I'm like, I heard, but weren't the English being taxed more than the colonists in America were? Well, I've heard that too. So Americans were just whining about shit that wasn't even real.
no, I think there was like
it's
so I
complicated.
right, it is. It is. For one thing, it's just like so. I didn't really much celebrate the fourth. My all my brothers did is that like my oldest brother just got like a bratwurst for dinner. So like the nothing more American to celebrate American Independence Day than German sausages. And it was like a choice of like we could watch something American related or just continue watching the anime we were watching, which was Free Run. So it's just like I wanted to watch the anime. We could watch 1776 and the movie version of the musical, and that's always a classic. Apparently my oldest brother has like a copy of Hamilton, so I could have watched that if I wanted to as well too. Okay, yeah, that's fitting for the 4th of July. Or we could have watched like Team America World Police. He didn't suggest it Independence Day though, which is also like appropriate for that day. But honestly, it's just like for
I also
me,
watched Space Camp.
not oh, I still have not seen that movie, but there's a lot of movies I haven't seen.
It's an 80s movie.
I mean, is it entertaining in your opinion?
It's good. Well, okay, so it's a story about these kids. Leah Thompson's in it. They get launched into space, and they do. It's goofy 80s shit. That's
But
basically what.
well, yeah. So Goofy 80 shits. I mean, I can like enjoy good, fun, like Goofy 80 shits as well too. I was like sort of trying to think of like examples of Goofy 80 shits that I watch and enjoy, but so like Commandos is goofy in the action movie ridiculous sense as well too, not necessarily in the 80s sense. It just happens to
Peaches.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Top
teen,
Gun.
actually the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was in the 90s. The cartoon was in the 80s though. I guess that would be a good one to go worth, or like the Transformers 80s cartoons as well too.
I think Top Gun make a good choice.
I still have not seen Top Gun though.
No,
You're not missing much.
I
It's
mean
Toxic Masculinity and Homoerotica, the movie.
See, the whole erotica, I've seen that plenty across like many 80s movies as well, too. Yeah. So there
It's
you go.
the 300, but 20 years earlier.
Exactly. And with less sense of fascism as well. Uh,
I actually like
no,
Top Gun. I'm
it's
sorry.
entertaining.
Maybe I should be kicked off the stream. There's something like God damn it, Ted Cruz, Tom Cruise. I would rather have Tom Cruise than Ted Cruz flying an airplane.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No, that's
I think it's
Kira.
mine. Mine seems to be hiccuping.
Yeah.
Kirok.
But don't worry, you're not missing much. We're just like talking about like 80s movies and entertainment and what we did on the 4th of July. I just streamed, and I thought it was appropriate to what I streamed. I started by reading the 4th chapter of Howard Stern's People History of the United States. Oh, leading up to the revolution, as well as the complexity of that sort of thing too, because there is some truth to like the taxation representation and how like England was exploiting colonies for the economic benefits as well too, while like the colonies were just under the complete control of like the king, and like the founding fathers wanted to do things that they couldn't because they were under British rule.
No,
Well,
basically,
like
the founding fathers, the slave raping plantation owners.
yes,
Um, I mean, they were liberals, classical
yeah,
liberals. They wanted to
yes,
replace the princes of blood with the princes of coin. That's all.
yes. Mhm.
I mean, they chafed at not being in control of everything.
Yeah.
And Britain, the empire was exercising more and more control. They were, they were firming their grip on the colonies. The colonies
Mhm.
had been kind of libertarian hellscapes, and they were moving away from that, and that was upsetting to the libertarian pieces of shit who wanted to be able to do whatever they want while raping their slaves.
Yes, and but like something that like Harrison did like point out is that like well, one thing is that like the majority of the like working class people were not in favor of like a revolution, and the founding fathers, basically the princes of coin, essentially, and the raping slave owning plantation owners as well. They did figure it out to like okay, in it's just like how all capitalists have often frequently done is like try to like take the grievances that the working class has and migrated over and pointed towards the grievances towards the British.
Mm-hmm.
And they effectively did that. The Boston Massacre, like, didn't help. It helped things in that regard. And there's a lot of things that they kind of like managed to like steer them, point the direction of the British to like focus their anger there, again scapegoating as it were too, so that they can get the populace more in favor of like revolution. But also
Yeah.
one thing that like Harrison did point out is that like the British Crown did promise the indigenous people that they would not expand the colonies further westward beyond the
Mm-hmm.
Appalachian Mountains. It was actually in treaties as well too. And the founding fathers didn't like that because they wanted to continue spending westward. And so
Founding fathers
revolution.
were like, can we? Yeah, but there's like we're like white and there's like land over there, but like yeah, I know, but in engines aren't they're not the same as us white folks. So
Yeah,
let's can we
the Supreme Court would eventually decide, like officially in favor of imperialism, saying that
Mhm.
if the people living on the land aren't farming, then officially they don't inhabit the land. The land is
Mhm.
uninhabited, and you can just go in and take it.
Yeah.
Fucking white supremacist imperialist bullshit.
I think they referenced the discovery doctrine in order for that too,
Hmm.
which
Not
was
sure about
like
that,
a
but
but
that would have been
I would have to.
Catholic, so probably not.
I mean, yeah, I have to like research that and I've heard it because like I heard that connection as well, or the mention of that in court documents, and but like maybe I'm wrong. But the Silver Doctrine was the thing by the Pope as well too, Holy Pulpit to again, and that was like another justification as well to choose like take land from the indigenous people because they were not using the property.
yeah, they were like, they were taking care of the land and we were like, that's not how you
Well, no,
farm,
they
you just
were managing the land. Let's
burn
not
it,
turn it
shit on it.
into, you know, let's not turn it around magical native stuff.
Sure.
They repeatedly burned the land down in order to turn it from the natural forest into a much more park-like, to a much more park-like existence, so that it was easier to hunt. They managed groves of nut trees. They
Hmm.
managed fisheries. They were managing the landscape much the same way that Europeans were. They just weren't
Hmm.
farming.
Yeah, I don't think they need to.
Pardon my ignorance.
I
No
mean,
problem.
they were developing farming agriculture. Just because the thing is, they didn't have a good suite of farmable crops like the entirety of two separate continents of Europe, Asia. Oh, and also Africa. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
just
okay, I didn't
and they were starting to farm. Corn had just made its way up to the Northeast when white people arrived.
Hmm.
pardon my ignorance.
No problem. Believe me, there's a lot of Americans that are ignorant about like this sort of thing too, and like, yeah. Like the many reasons why the revolution was as well too. We were just like taught of like one thing is like with like history in elementary school and middle school and like primary school and high school and something like that. It's kind of like and is how it is U.S. history, and in some cases also like state history. Your particular state history are requirements in order to like pass high school as well too. It's meant to instill patriotism. That's the part of the burden of it, which is why when like people who are like big fans of like history from like high school or middle school and something like that, and elementary school, uh, tend to be like right-wing leaning, and then once they go to like college to study like further history and maybe learn the things that they weren't taught in the school in history as well too, they reject the kind of history that they are
Mm-hmm.
taught because, and
Our
some
schools are for
people.
about indoctrination, not education.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like setback, Chance Johnson setback history gets to complain all the time. It's like, stop putting politics in history, which to him is just like, that's you're complaining about me putting water in the ocean. Dirty Part also says there were like also no beats of burn, so
God damn
no
it, my internet
tradition
is
of like
really
tilling
shitty
and
today.
had like established itself. But Barry Batches. Yeah, it is. The think the stream. Okay,
No,
there's
my
been
internet is
hiccups
just
on the
really
stream
shitty today,
from the
and
time to time, and you. Yep. But berry batches and like that were well developed like sciences. Yeah, exactly. They did a lot. I bet the indigenous people just like did a lot of foraging when they ever really could. Or like many tribes of the indigenous people did like foraging and hunting when it was the season to do so as
mm.
well too.
They had diverse lifestyles.
Mhm.
No group was ever purely one thing or the other when it came to
Yeah,
hunter gatherer or agriculture or
yeah.
pastoralism.
They many
Hmm.
many of them just like swap depending on the season.
Mm-hmm. And any landscape, you could find different groups doing different things. In this case, I'm drawing specifically from Europe. There was one culture, the Beakers, because they had a particular style of pottery that only did agriculture in a certain type of landscape, and they spread across Europe, just finding those patches of land, and then they were surrounded by people living a different lifestyle.
Hmm.
So you could have very, very diverse populations in the sharing areas.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So how was everyone's 4th of July? I kind of mentioned what I did.
I did a lot of
So
driving.
Hmm.
I trying to think what I did. Oh, I just stayed home because it's like hot as shit out everywhere around the world. So I just stayed home and watched movies. Independence Day was one, but I also watched Armageddon because it's another just dumbass, goofy American popcorn movie. And since it's Armageddon,
Mhm.
and since it's the 4th of July, why not celebrate the
And it's
movie?
got
I mean,
America's racist dad in there, Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
well, that's also well, not only that, but also just
Nope, I
like,
shouldn't call him racist. I don't know. I mean, he was a Republican before dementia, so he's almost certainly incredibly racist.
but
But
not all. I don't think all Republicans are racist, though. I don't know.
I
I
do.
because because like that's like saying all black folks are X or all X. You know,
No,
I
because
don't.
republicanism is something you do. You're not born a Republican.
I think. Well, I think Republicanism tends to like favors a lot of traditionalism, which racism does fall into. So I guess we can say that, but I wouldn't say.
The Republican platform is eugenics.
Yeah.
If you
But
vote
also,
Republican, you're doing eugenics. I mean,
yeah, currently as well too. But
There were black eugenicists too. People,
oh, this is frustrating.
I think
My internet.
I mean I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know. Just
I
saying.
don't know. Well, if W.E.D. Du Bois is like has some eugenicist leanings and stuff like that, I have to
Yeah, but
research. I
that
think
was
Joe Trippi,
1900. I mean,
right?
It's still bad.
if you're talking about back in the day, everyone was eugenicist because everyone thought that was science. If you're
Yeah.
still talking eugenics today, it's because you're a skull measuring racist piece of shit.
Yeah, technology is just like eugenics as well too. But like W.E.B. Du Bois was like, let's say, the scholar and writer, but like from like the 1900s, like the 20th century, not the, yeah, not the like 1800s and the
Mhm.
19th century. So
Yep.
like that was Frederick Douglass that was like doing writings in like the
Yeah, Frederick
1800s and
Douglass was Civil
1900s.
War. W.B. Du Bois was Teddy Roosevelt in World War One.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, I don't care how you feel about I support our troops. See, these individual troops, the basically since like the draft is we don't have like a draft because we have a poverty draft as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Encouraging the people to like join the army and the armed forces because of
Hey,
the college
JJP.
degrees and stuff like that. So that's why I don't have the to I do kind of like to support the troops, but there are some well, it's like if you like join the troops before you became a leftist as well too, and like left the like thing as well too. Like there, I know people who like are like veterans as well too, but they don't like it when you say thank you so much for your service. It's like yeah, they just like because especially like with the U.S. Armed Forces right now for like the last 20 or 30 years or something like that is that you're killing black and brown people for like oil profits
Mm-hmm.
for the oil companies like profits as well too. So
Poor men fighting rich men's wars.
yes, exactly. And most people that like are were in the armed services are at some point like traumatized as well too. But I do have some friends and some leftists that do like say that like if you have been in the armed forces at any time that you were at least participating in like the service of white supremacy and imperialism, which I don't disagree with because that was the armed forces of the USA and or any imperial core country is doing. They're just doing imperialism and like spreading white supremacy and like a U.S. hegemony, which U.S. hegemony is white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly foremost for the like a purpose of capitalism and with a byproduct white supremacy, but sometimes it's just white supremacists as well too. Look at what we're doing to the Middle East.
They're very bound up in one another.
Yeah, exactly. What about Vietnam vets? Again, the poverty draft, or like that was when the draft was active as well too. And like forced
And of
conscription. So it's
course,
like,
you were able to get out of the draft if you went to college
yeah.
or
So if
Canada.
you're rich enough, or Canada, yes. To be fair, I don't know if like the Canada's prime ministers like just lied about like what happened, something that happened that didn't happen that like kind of like drum up support for like us to like invade a country like
Or you
that.
go
Like
to a
we,
doctor and get him to say you have bone spurs.
yeah. Again, if you're rich enough, or have like the good enough connections, which happens when you're rich enough,
Mm-hmm.
or you're born rich enough. But yeah, so it's like that's so it's I do like have sympathy for like the vets as well too, mostly because they often are traumatized by the experience of like either war or the being in the service as well too. So my Chris is still of the institution as well too, but it's like it's I but honestly, if people are thinking of joining the like armed forces now, I would try to like steer them away from that if possible as well too. But sometimes what economic choices like some folks have. Now, some don't think that's an excuse as well too to actively participate in the system, but it's just like, yeah, there's no ethical production on the capitalism. But I would like it personally if I met someone now that like has some like a leftist leanings in politically, like they're progressive, and they are thinking of joining the armed forces, similar to maybe not the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard seems to be more defensive and not actively doing imperialism, but the Coast Guard might do some border controls. I'm not sure. I
The
think
Coast
Coast
Guard,
Guard
the Coast Guard is probably what like Starfleet is.
or
No,
like the
they're a
fire
military
department out at sea.
organization. Don't
Yeah,
mistake it.
yeah,
But
They're
so is Star,
cops.
but so is
yeah,
Star. I don't know.
yeah. So no, Starfleet gets cops too. Yeah.
I'm not like so. And this is once again like another reminder of how like I guess I'm not as left. Like I'm very left wing, very progressive, very progressive. But I
The
guess I'm
most
not.
progressive. I do all the progress. You sound like Trump right there. That's why I'm doing this impersonations. Sorry.
I guess I'm not as far left as I think, but I'm pretty far left. I don't know.
I know that like in talking to some people, what sometimes like when I talk to them and about this sort of thing, when I found out they're clearly not as like left as me as well too, like they're just barely a socialist because they're just a Bernie Sanders supporter as well too, not a Bernie Rope, but a Bernie Sanders supporter is kind of like there's a lot of they hear me talk about the things that I talk about. And when they try to process that and think about it, to them there's a lot of hangups of how they like grow up and how they think that like well if you work hard enough you should be rewarded and that sort of thing too. uh, and it's just from like how they like learn about the world or how they grew up to be taught about the world, again the darker nation as well too, but in some often from family, sometimes society as well too. That's where a lot of things like just hit the wall and or sometimes hit the wall or get to a road bump as well too. And it's just hard for some people to unlearn what they have learned. And some people never unlearn what they
Well, no,
learn.
it's well, no, no, no. Like I have an open mind.
Right.
Like I have an open like I'm curious to what a world without capitalism or police would be. I'm
Yeah.
curious.
Mm.
I just
The
you know,
culture.
it's not. Yeah, well, it's just like
I'm
it's just,
actually referring to a specific sci-fi series, Ian M. Banks, The Culture.
The
okay.
Mars series.
No, I'm just
In many ways, it's easier to imagine communism when you have fully automated luxury gay space communism.
Yeah.
so
But I
like
think
what
we could have that without having AIs that cater to our every need. Um,
Yeah.
so what okay, so the my ideal world is the Star Trek world.
Mhm.
That's that's what I'm willing to settle for, even though it's probably not going to happen. What world would you describe that to be?
it's post
Post
scarcity.
for at
And the
least
thing
very
is, we
short post
are
scarcity.
already post scarcity because scarcity is capitalist necessity.
Yeah.
So they maintain it. We throw away like half our food, maybe two-thirds, because we
Mhm.
need to maintain that scarcity. That's just one
Yeah, but
example.
yeah.
Um,
We with how much food the agricultural industry produces, we can feed the entire world 1.5 times.
yeah.
And 40% of the food is never get like eaten at all because it gets
We
thrown
throw
away.
away a third of it off the vine because it's ugly. I mean,
Yes, it doesn't pass the grade.
so um, essentially, I'm pretty sure that once we get rid of bullshit jobs and middle management and all that stuff, and the artificially maintained scarcity and wealth extraction, each of us could be working like a 4 or 5 hour work week.
Hmm.
We could get up, work an hour or two in the day, in the morning, and then just go off and play the rest of the time.
Yeah, or spend time with our friends and family. Imagine how much there have been so many times where it's like my friends would like love to like play games with me and something like that, and or sometimes I see them playing games and I'll love to join in them. With this, it is well, yeah. I actually, Kira, like I think that like your position of being middle manager is not needed because like the middle management, whatever is done, is something like that can be spread through like everyone that works at the store because CEO James like said, every chef can govern.
Mhm.
Why does like everyone needs to like someone above them as well too, like I said about my lead at my point I don't mind
You
well
probably
yeah
did, Kirak. I don't doubt it. Problem is that your job is unnecessary.
you if you still manage to till sometimes and still like work the floor or something like that and like do that sort of thing too like the other workers as well too, oh then that is the important work as well too, the
The
middle
people that
management.
you manage, they know what their jobs are. They know to do them.
Mhm.
If they're not doing them, then they shouldn't be there. That's it's just
Yeah,
the job
that's
itself is what's unnecessary, not you.
right. It's and that's and like people have like realized that their job is bullshit when it's like they've been one guy got promoted to like a middle manager position of like IT and coding and stuff like that, and so all he does is like but the team he works with they all know what they're doing. they're good. They don't need him to like do this and that. They're already on it, and it's just coding. So he tried to like, so he knows that his job's bullshit. He tried to actually do actual work, like actual coding his word, like seek on the side, but the higher ups caught him doing that and said, "Don't do that," and so he couldn't do that. So for his 8 hour like shift as well too, well maybe not as 8 hours this hour, but it still has to show up to work as well too because offices and like attendance and sort of thing too. And so, but like he had to sit there and do nothing because like his job is being a middle manager for or the team leader as well too. But his team doesn't need a leader. And so, and now there's it. Then there's so that's like, then there's an so that's a taskmaster kind of like a bullshit job. There's other like bullshit jobs where it's just like the person's supposed to like do all that work as well too, but they are either can't, incompetent, or not well trained. So then they have to have a flunky that does most of the work for them because they can't do the work as well too. That's where it's like flunky's job is bullshit because it should be the other person that doing all that work, and sometimes the flunky is not paid as well as like the other person as well too. But yeah, but also it's like Kirak, we also this is where it's like we have the disconnect between you and us as well too. We don't think work in itself is valuable in and of itself. The product of the work that we do or the enjoyment you can get out of it is one thing as well too. But when we work on our personal products as well too, we are having fun with that. Who wouldn't force them to not be there? It's volunteer. It's freedom of association.
I
It's
could work on my space station if I don't know.
yeah.
No, I'm saying if we had more free time.
The two fire disease. Okay, again, Kurok, we like in our ideal world, there's not going to be as much crimes as like theft and anything like that because of how there's no poverty, and that like that was going to get rid of a lot of the petty theft as well too. If there's going to be some petty theft as well, it's just from antisocial behavior and or like delinquency. I don't know a better word to use than that. And again, freedom of association, just disassociate with the thieves as much as possible. And also, hopefully, petty theft like that is not going to be as detrimental to society as well too. If like something personal that has sentimental value to me, it gets like stolen or like snatched or something like that, that will personally hurt me a lot. But like I kind of tend to see again in our ideal world that I'll tend to see that mostly as just like antisocial behavior or anything like that, not of like a act of desperation as well too. The people who do not show up to work, who's going to the books, who's going to like manage things like schedule a payroll of this. It's who okay, schedule payroll of watch. Who says that the employees that like you are working with can't do that? You can train them on that. I honestly believe that if they're good at like managing a deal, I'm working with customers, and some of that's on the job training. You just have to like learn as you go. And some people they can't handle that, but others like that can. I mean, just for showing up on time regularly for years, I was got the promotion to like lead customer service representative, and actually had other responsibilities like doing inventory, and creating working to create an order as well too. And also, I would could have been I actually would have been in line to be like one of the second assistant managers for that station as well too. But the only reason I didn't is because I didn't have a driver's license. Because if it did have driver's license would be required to be assistant manager for the gas station job for the company I work for. Because then they need to fill in like other shifts at the other gas stations as well too, other under the company, then I can drive over there as well too. So that's why I didn't become assistant manager. And again, why was I in the only because I show up and work in time frequently. And one footnote in bullshit jobs is that like Dave Graber just asked like people who hire people, why is it that you require a high school diploma to show up for this job? Is it for basic literacy, basic mathematics skills, things like that? No. If you have a high school diploma, that proves you have good attendance. Because if you have poor
It proves that
attendance,
you sit still and do what you're told day after day for years on end.
yeah, because if you have 9 missed days, or I don't forget, it depends on which jurisdiction or district it is, but like if you have too many missed days, then you go and graduate. Or for me, I actually did have like reach that number of missed days of like unexcused missed days. That's the thing too. If there were excused, that's like a doctor's note or sick days or something like that, it got approved. But I actually had too many unexcused or unannounced missed days. So in order to like get my diploma or prove that like, oh no, here's what happened, I did show up to like a panel which includes students as well as teachers and guidance counselors as well too, to explain my unexplained absences. It turns out actually one time I did show up to that day at school, but my mom called in for me sick because I wasn't I did not look that well today. So it was like I was sick enough for to where my mom to cause them to call the school to say I'm sick and not coming in, but I showed up anyway because I wanted to show up to the first day of school because it was the first day of drama class and I love drama class a lot as well too. So I actually wanted to show up to school that day. So, but that means that like since I did show up to like school and show up, I was okay. Hey, all right, like at the here, it's like okay, now you've been approved, so you will graduate something like that, but you can't miss any more days. Oh, and so it's like the very last day, which most of the students just skipped because it's the very last day and they had good enough attendance they could sit that day. I couldn't because if I did skip that day, could not explain my like absence that day because there were no more school days afterwards too. So I had to show up that day as well too in order to get my diploma. So that's what, and that shows you that like the to employers, most employers, the high school diploma just means you're able to show up to school and you're able to show up regularly and day. And for most jobs, if you show up to the work regularly, you'll get promoted just for showing up regularly. That's it.
I've never been promoted at any of my custodial jobs though.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're not on a promotion track. You're on a poor person track.
Yeah.
He's talking about white people jobs.
No, yeah, great. It's I guess it's my guess it's a job. But like others have like said similarly, like I listened to a podcast and one of the hosts used to be like a correctional officer at a prison, and he was about to get promoted just because he was showing up at work regularly every day as well too. My company requires like let's see, David Portal says I dated someone in the executive class, junior executives at the financial investment firm. His schedule was so ridiculously light, it was insane. The executive class gets to like live like human beings. Yeah, no, David Graeber mentioned that in Bullshit Jobs of Theory that like all of finance is just like a bullshit industry as well too. And the people who work in the finances seem to like do nothing all day but make cap memes as well too.
Kirok, the point of getting rid of bullshit jobs is that everyone will still be able to live once the jobs are gotten rid of. We're communists. We don't want to... See, capitalists are the ones who say, oh, we doubled productivity, we're going to fire half of you. Communists go the other way. We double productivity, we're just going to cut your hours and keep the pay the same.
Yeah.
That makes plenty of sense. That makes a lot of sense, John.
Yeah, exactly. That's why attendance counts as much, if not more, than your like scores on actual attendance. I mean, you just need a D average and then part to graduate and pass as well too. No, I was actually failing some of my classes. So like my drama teacher, she always saw herself as a good mother to her students and her theater kids as well too. So that's why
Let me guess, you were doing poorly in English.
No. Was I doing poorly in English? I don't remember. No, American. I think it was American history. Maybe the other one was English, but like, yeah, no women, no women or black people in the management of our company.
I'm assuming you do have some tokens.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, it's an Nebraska
you're responding to me saying that it's the white person track. Yeah, we live in a white supremacist society, Kirok.
Yeah,
like Chick-fil-A has a DEI department now. They don't give a fuck about that. They're a bunch of fucking bigots. But even the ones who don't like, I don't think that what's his name, Mark Zuckerberg, is a card-carrying white supremacist. But I guarantee you, his company is chock-a-block full of white penises.
Just remember that Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook as a way to like assess like who of his
to sexually harass women.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, like companies decided to start using AIs to try and do their employment screening, so that they wouldn't have to worry about potential biases. And then they found that their AIs were preferentially choosing white men who had played lacrosse. Because for some reason, oh, that's because the AI had been trained by the recruiting practices from before, and the recruiting practices from before had chosen white men, and by happenstance, they had happened to play lacrosse.
Yeah, it's just like the lacrosse part was interesting. So it's got happening. It seems by my guess that correctly that like I guess like most of the white men that they hired happened to play lacrosse, which is a popular sport in like certain like parts of the country.
Yep. New England, Upper Midwest.
Yeah, exactly. It's
And
that's
just to show you, oh, look at that. One of the first images on a Google image search shows a black guy holding a lacrosse stick, but the rest, oh, and there's a black girl right there. Oh, another black guy. Oh, and that's a
I
Native
would.
American. Oh, that's Arizona. But the rest of
I
them, white
mean,
guy, white guy, white guy, white guy, white guy, white guy,
yeah,
white
exactly.
guy.
Just like Kira, just like Google beautiful people, and just scroll down just on the first page, count how many non-white people are and like counted as beautiful people when you Google image search beautiful people, or like cute kids, or beautiful women, or sexy men, and so on and so
I
forth.
mean,
Uh,
your company may do everything it can, but it's swimming upriver when it comes to pushing back against white supremacy.
yeah,
And
I'm yeah, I miss bisexual Taco Bell.
although I'm kind of getting trans vibes off it too.
Oh yeah, exactly, yeah. Uh,
Oh, Crunchwrap. It's both a soft taco and a hard taco.
yes, it
It's a
swings both
non-binary taco.
ways. Yes. I don't get those Crunch Fresh Supremes too much. They either are filled with like sour cream or like a cheese, and it's like too much dairy would be. I guess I can and like on the Taco Bell app, you can like customize it so that like it doesn't have like you can have a healthy option where it's just like cuts out the fatty stuff like the ground beef or the kind of meats and switch to like beans and stuff like that. It cuts the cheese and sour cream because those are fatty.
So what you
And it
end up with is a piece of pita bread stuffed with beans.
or and like pico de gallo, so like lettuce and tomatoes and onions, so vegetables.
So it's a salad wrapped in bread. Yeah.
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 So you can have vegan Taco Bell, and like it's comfort filth. I don't count. It's hard
That's
for
what
me to
Taco
count.
Bell looked like in the 80s and into the 90s. JODP.
Yeah, it's up into 2000s. Remember Taco Bell looking like that not that long ago.
Oh
Honestly,
wait, are we talking about Taco Bell with the with that
Yes, we're both
fluorescent?
privileged.
Fuck!
yes,
I love that design.
yes,
You have no
that
fucking clue, man.
is an awesome design. And yes, Kirok, I'm privileged for being white. I'm privileged for being cis passing too. I'm privileged
That
for being
that
I drive
able-bodied.
Uber. I frequently deal with strangers. They have opinions. I'm never scared.
that Taco Bell's color scheme is synth as crud.
That's because
Yes,
it was developed when synth was developed. But
yes.
yeah, like a woman driving Uber is going to have a very different experience from me. A black man driving Uber is going to
Mm.
have a very different experience from me.
Hell, a black man driving period is going to have a
Yeah.
very different
Look,
experience
I
than
have
like
been
white people.
pulled over twice in more than a year of driving Uber. A black man driving for Uber would be pulled over twice a month, not twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
I have never been pulled over actually by doing Uber.
Is I mean, here like there's photo of a cop that like has his hand on his gun as he's approaching a car with a black man driving, and converse that with like I can pull up the photo if I want to, but like white supremacist because this was at like a protest for trying to keep up a Confederate statue in 2015 in like Georgia as well. So again, they're defending the Confederate statue staying up. So white supremacists are around, and counter protesters were trying to doing counter protest things against that protest. One white supremacist pulled the gun out He had the gun pointed at the counter protester. The cop, like, who was standing in the middle of both of them, and the white cop, he's just like, "Oh, hold on." His hands nowhere like this, nowhere near his gun. When in confronting a white person pointing the gun, converse to like most like black people's experiences like dealing with cops, where it's like as they approach the car on just like a routine stop as were too for busted headlights or like rolling stops or whatever, with their hands on the gun and a finger on the snap. That's white privilege there in like the white supremacist society. You can say it's one example as well too, but like there's many black people have like echoed that's like story of like their experiences with cops. As so yeah, we live in a white supremacist society. So, and again, and like with the privilege thing as well, what like right wingers and reactionaries do not understand. They think there's like a privilege points, and like, oh, you're rewarded with like privilege. It's like, oh, here you go. Here's like the positive things. Here you go. It's like, no. It's just like your privilege comes when you don't deal with the shit that like marginalized people deal with. Maybe I don't remember it looking like that because my family went to McDonald's more in the 90s than Taco Bell. Yeah, that's fair. I think the McDonald's looked the same as well too, honestly.
Yeah, McDonald's, from what I remember, as the, I
In
guess
the 80s,
the
McDonald's was brown.
uh, Isaiah as the pop culture connoisseur, I guess.
Mhm.
The McDonald's had these giant yellow light up arches.
Hmm.
Um, Also, they had French fries in plastic bags. Does anyone remember that? They would put the fries
Yes.
in the plastic bag.
Actually, I don't remember the French fries in a plastic bag. I remember barely, but like I was barely old enough to remember, or just remember seeing photos of this, that they used to have like the Big Macs and other burgers wrapped in styrofoam uh containers as well too.
Yeah, the clamshell containers.
Yep, the clamshell containers, and there was a big hullabaloo, and they for the get rid of the styrofoam as well to campaign to get rid of that, and it was successful because McDonald's did actually switch over to like the cardboard or paper like clamshell like containers now for Big Macs and other things. So yeah, what other news? And I didn't prepare for this episode because I was hoping Mithra was going to be able to join us for to talk about the UK elections. One thing I can say about the UK elections that I found interesting, apparently, McDonald's used to like have hamburgers that said yeah, they did used to do that. Or I remember that was the big thing. Like Jack in the Box would criticize them for that. I remember that like commercial with like Jack and saying to McDonald's, stop having burgers just like sitting there in holding bins, and like Burger King, stop using microwaves on your like frame broiled like patties as well too. And I never actually saw the microwave back there as well too. It's like, oh look, those are the flame broiled patties are sitting in the microwave that like Jack said as well too. Well, Jack and Box at the time at least pride themselves for like every time that like the food is like you order the food, and hamburger chairs, hamburger seats. Oh
Yep, yep.
Hey guys.
yeah.
I just remembered something. Can I share this right quick? I'm
Sure.
dead serious. I'm dead serious.
Sure.
This is the story you want to hear. Okay.
Okay.
I was coming so I went to a friend's house for a late 4th of July, kind of like just get together. We didn't really do anything big. So then like she gave me money to take the Uber back to my house. And my Uber driver, so John, I may want your dialogue here on this. My this driver he, this my Uber driver, he looked like Ed Harris, just putting that out there. Dude, he went on the most batshit rant I've ever heard about. He was like, oh, Joe Biden, is this, and Trump is the best. I want the country to be run as a business, and Trump's the best businessman ever, and that this that and the
I
other.
drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, yeah. He also said global warming was a hoax. Guess how he said that. He's
Racistly.
no he
Uh,
well
it was
he's
the Jews.
now he didn't say that. He said China's cutting down everything. China is doing this. China's doing that. China's doing that. China's doing this, and it's cooler in the shade because there's no sun in the shade, and I'm like, there's still a sun, but you're being covered by the. Okay, okay. So he was like, Biden is like Stormy Daniels is a hoe, and we should trust her because she's a sex worker or sex,
It's
and
work
then,
out his, but he also said ho, but so it's
well,
like
he didn't say hoe. He said in some
whore.
he did.
Oh,
In some,
he
Okay.
used the hard R.
yeah.
Well, I'm assuming he's saying hard R.
Yeah, he was like, do your research. China's doing everything. And he said about January 6th, he said that was like the base, some people in the basement, that the people storming the Capitol did nothing wrong, but and Trump didn't instigate it in
Did
any way, shape, or
did
form.
did he blame January? He said it was Antifa
This is a
that caused
guy who's
January
primed
6th.
to be a lone wolf.
No, he didn't say they were Antifa, but I didn't push him on it.
Uh,
Although I'm sure he thinks it was Antifa and the FBI.
mm,
He's already defaulted to that absolute fact. But I didn't press him
yeah.
because I was like, fuck, I just want to get out of this goddamn car.
Yeah, I don't blame you,
Yeah,
Isaiah. It's just like,
it was the most like crazy rant I've ever heard, man. He was like, Biden, like Biden this and the whole thing, Kamala, oh, he also said that people elected Obama because he was black. He said that.
there is some truth to that, but like, the,
Maybe.
it,
He was
but
the
it's
Democratic nominee. He
hmm?
fucking nailed the it was the fancy speech from Once Upon a Time before the 2008 bid.
Yes, we can.
The DNC
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
2004. He was
Mhm.
it's like, wow, he's so well spoken. I mean, yes, the
Mhm.
fact that he was black played a role, but
Mhm.
I mean, he was the man in the place. He just
Yeah.
happened to be there. It's luck all the way down all the time. But the fact
He
that he
also,
won as a black man is actually against their argument because this is America.
yeah.
I also think he was also just really young and really
He's
I mean,
incredibly charismatic, incredibly
yeah,
intelligent,
Yeah.
incredibly well spoken, black or white. And
Yeah.
so yeah. Sometimes I watch some like the election of Obama, like the first election, especially like in an altered state. It brings tears to my eyes. It really does.
JJP, hate to break it to you, but there are so many FBI agents in Antifa organizations. They work hand in glove.
So yeah,
I'm being facetious. That's going Telpro.
Yeah. Yet to like yet the FBI has like actually publicly said as well too, or like people have found that as well that like they have hard time like infiltrating like anarchist like spaces as well too, or learning the like leadership structure of an anarchist like
There isn't one.
organization. Yes, yes, it's the
uh,
point of like
yeah,
structure.
he did also like ask who I was voting for, and I didn't make a comment.
Oh, you can honestly say I hate Joe Biden.
Yeah,
Well, okay, I hate Joe Biden because he's a fucking genocidal fuck. I hate him for that.
Exactly. Trump is worse.
yes,
Joe
Trump will
Biden
be
is bad.
worse.
Trump is worse. We want
Oh,
Biden to win only because
yeah.
he won't push hard down the gas pedal when it comes to the Palestinian genocide.
Yeah, but also that did happen. Well, one thing he said, like, yeah, the debate happened. I didn't watch it. And like, but like, wow, it's like one of all of the like gaffes in like Joe Biden's speech, which or Joe Biden's like a statements as well, too, which is just all gaffes, honestly. But one of them, he said, like, look, we beat Medicare. It's like, wow, he's proud that he beat Medicare, and it's just like it's that's like he's trying to say something else, and I don't know what he was trying to say. But yet, since he said we beat Medicare, look, we beat Medicare, he's proud of beating Medicare or like Medicare for all. Oh, that's how I interpret it. But then again, I'm probably reading too much into
I
like
think
I'm
he
just
meant to say we did better than Medicare.
I see, yeah.
I didn't watch the
So that
debate.
was
I don't
misreading.
really care. It's political theater.
Yeah, it is.
There's
They're
no
just like
value in it.
ratings for yeah, there's no value in it as well too. But like that happened, and I was just like, and people, and so I was like, so the only thing I was like knew of like for a while was just like people's reactions, like Jesse Jettis' reactions to like every trans person's reaction to the last night's debate, how to move to Canada,
Yep.
and it was
And
like,
of course,
okay,
that is
oh,
it's an understandable joke, but at the
uh-huh.
same time,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like
which.
people fleeing from Texas and Florida in the wake
Mhm.
of Roe v. Wade being overturned. Most
Yeah.
people can't do that.
Yeah, which is why years ago, and me and other friends as well, in the conversation, a voice call, a friend of the group as well too answered the voice call as well too, but like said and was warning us, he's like was a Swedish, no, Zay was a Swedish person that like immigrated to Argentina, so that's why Zayn was like making the point as of like, hey, I'm able to do it, you should do it too. Zay were saying us in America, we should leave. And this was 4 years ago, like after Biden got elected, or just before that election as well too, or like a year before that as well too. So it's like, well, Trump was still in office, but it's like Zay thinks that like USA is the lost cause. We should abandon ship. And to which like the people in the call, one of them were disabled, and so they said, like, yeah, I can't move to Canada. They have rules against disabled people coming in. That I do not fit the criteria for immigration. Even Linda Quinn has said on publicly on stream as well too that like they can't move to Canada either as well too. Even though they might be able to or make it be easier because they have a relative that lives in like Canada, a family member in Canada who's Canadian, and that does make it easier. And but that's also speaks to privilege as well too in that front. But like they don't think that they're able to like come to Canada because they're disabled and their spouse is also disabled too. So it's like many countries do not want to like welcome in disabled people as well too because they want to just like with the trope of like want good hard workers to come to
They
our
want the
country.
good people, the ones who will make the good babies.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, that the being disabled speaks to like the eugenicist part of it as well too because they don't want like disabled babies essentially. Um, but like it's so like yeah and for me uh I don't think I have the money to like move because I have $24,000 worth of credit card debt, but also like I do not want to like abandon my friends that like can't move, like the many comrades that I give money to, Jordan Roberts, Phoenix, Joey Fire Lame Deer, but also Joey Fire Lame Deer is indigenous. So even if the people are able to like flee the USA and move to Canada or UK or whatever, will leave behind the indigenous people. Now I have like I know some people that like did immigrate to the UK and other places as well too, but that was their choice. It wasn't, and it's because of work or economics and that sort of thing too. And so like, it's not necessarily just because like they're fleeing America as well too. But yeah, it's like I personally wouldn't even like leave America if I could because I wouldn't want to leave behind my disabled comrades. But yeah. And I have another piece of news I remembered, the Supreme Court decision. I've not watched Legal Eagles like a video about it, how we're
We're
fucked, but
fucked.
like
Trump has been given immunity because they couched their ruling in such a way that, oh, of
mhm,
course he can be tried for any criminal behavior, but they made it so that any evidence of his criminal behavior cannot come in.
yeah. So now this is my so not understanding the full like ruling and how it's implicated, but like other than what you just said there, I still would say, listen, because of the system, not necessarily because of like who's running the country. This country's a fascist country. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just accept that now. And
Scratch
like
a liberal, a fascist bleeds.
exactly. Yeah. Sorry, Kirak. Um and it's like even if like it's like because I do not agree with liberals that like no the system's fine, we just have to get the right people into positions of power to like to use the
More
positions
women
of power
prison
well.
guards.
Yeah, exactly. Kamala Harris is the perfect embodiment of that crowd. Hi, more women guards as
She's a
she
black
was.
woman who put trans women in men's prisons.
Yes, and a trans woman got killed because of that. I don't have the links off of hand, but I remember like I did find that story. It's like no, that's like kind of true. It's like hey, to which like some liberals will defend Kamala Harris in that decision and said like oh, but like she doesn't have the power to like no. I don't think a comment of yours got deleted. Hold on. I'm going to switch over to live chat. Sometimes top chat does not have all the chats as well too, but live chat does. Switch C. I'm just going to go with this. So let's see. From 1203, I hated the Q&A with C's because like no way do we ever want to like Trump in office, but there's a cause for alarm with Biden. I understand. I understand like why you did this, but Kira, even at this point. I'm saying vote for Biden, but I don't go as far as Steve and saying like vote for Biden regardless of what state you're in. If you're even a dead red state or a dead blue state, vote for Biden. Still, I don't vote for the third party. You're throwing away your vote. No, I'm saying like at least if you were in battleground state, like Joe McClory, if he's here, he would say he's voting for Biden because Wisconsin's always contested state. So like people that are, I would like urge would want people who are in battleground states, if they're voting to vote for Biden in the presidential election as well too. Um, and because it's like even if you do in those states, if you do vote third party, that could hurt like Biden's chances as well too. Now if some people that were going to vote for Trump, but like because he's like too far or too strong, but somehow vote for the Libertarian Party, I don't mind them voting for the Libertarian Party because at least it's not vote for Trump, and like voting for a Libertarian Party might take away some like votes from Trump, as it did happen in 2020, at least in Georgia, and that was a contested state as well too. I say, hell, Hillary should have won this year. She would have gotten my vote. It's like, but she wasn't going to run as well too. It's like, and there was. I don't know if there would be the same number of problems with like Hillary Clinton as candidate as with like Biden as well too. I'm not sure how like full throat she's going to be for like Palestinian genocide, but I'm sure she's like pro-Israel for sure. So there's that. Did not vote for I understand if you did not vote for like Obama because he's black, you probably like this cause. We need a major change to our politics. That's not going to happen anytime soon. Bush was a very worse president. Bush Jr. was a very worse president. I say I don't have to like justify your vote, or you don't need to explain to anyone for your vote. Reverting to the conversation that Isaiah had with like the Uber driver who went on like a very like strange like a rant of like blah 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 as well. So no, I live in a red state. I hate it, but this is home. This is where my family, my kids, and my granddaughter. I'm not leaving them. Well, you're not living your family as well too. That's so just speaking personally as well too for myself. Like why I did not move to LA to pursue the acting career or something like that. I don't know if I had the opportunity to, or I could have. I could have just like pull up in the shop and just like leave and like and go to LA to pursue my acting career if I wanted to, but then it will be a struggle. I'll be probably destitute, honestly, unless I get really lucky, or just find a regular job to like live to be able to pay all my expenses as well too. But I would. It's more of a fear of like going to like going outside my bubble, which is why I didn't live. Didn't move to like LA. And Data Portal said, I was arguing about the SCOTUS decision, and the liberal I was talking to only had the fallback point of like the military would never let him do that. That's where they're bargaining from now. Yeah, yeah. So it's like again with the SCOTUS decision, there's other hold on. There's like a one person that like posts in like a Discord I'm in about like other like a US politics news where basically yes, other like AP news articles of like SCOTUS is aim to like take up the state's bans on gender affirming care. That's scary because like that's probably gonna go horrible and it's gonna be like 6 degrees. Like yeah, states can ban like gender affirming care if they want to. What Supreme Court it just opened the door on criminal. Okay, this criminalizing disabled grants pass. Okay, I should really read this one too. We'll probably all talk about it like next week. Oh yeah. Those of you who are watching, next week is going to be the Patreon show. Because it'll be the second Sunday of the month, and yeah. So like remember if you're a patron of the show, and I'll remind John Brockman as well, like the weekend before it as well too. That like the so if you are a patron of the show, you can join the call when John Brockman provides. So like provided nothing happens next week that will like prevent us from doing the show. Uh Okay, I was just gonna like read from this article and post it into like the live chat because it does seem like very unfortunate. Not surprising in my opinion, concerning of like the eugenicists and like anti-homeless like and anti-poor kind of like bent of this like fascist country as well too. As the Slate article said, in this 6-3 ruling, the Supreme Court just held that like people experiencing homelessness could be like subject to criminal and civil penalties for sleeping in public spaces in the city of Grants Impasse versus Johnson, the court had overturned a court decision by the U.S. Court of Appeals from the Ninth Circuit, which held that like these penalties were unconstitutional under the Eighth Amendment prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment. The case stems from Grant Pass, Oregon. Okay, Grant Pass, Oregon as well too, but I don't know where that is exactly. So it may be like a small town, a rural town in even in the blue state of Oregon. Because remember, the only reason Oregon's blue is because of Portland and Eugene, probably, which is the case of most like blue states. Honestly, the big patches, blue patches of the metropolitan areas are like Seattle and Washington State, or Seattle, Tacoma, Everett metropolitan area in the Washington State. Well, the rest of the state's red. All the blue patches in like California, so on and so forth as well too. But yeah, so but as the article read, in this case stems from Grant Pass, Oregon, where local politicians were seeking to eradicate the homeless population through fines and jail time. This is not uncommon throughout the whole course of capitalism, of just like having basically anti-poor laws. The context wrench, like I mentioned, the ugly loss as well too. Again, like anti-disability loss as well too, and anti-poor loss as well too. I have strong opinions about LA. The museums are fun, but it's a nightmare to get to the front prices. Yeah, I imagine so. Again, George MP, the only reason for me to like think about like moving to LA was just like the what places that I can do or like to work as an actor as well too. And the part of it maybe was like for the fame of like being in television or like in movies, something like that. But I was willing to like do a lot of extra work or like bit parts and like so and sitcoms as well too. As like I forgot the comedian actor who said that, but like the guy said the difference between like a cousin or a brother or something like that, his brother's a recurring a regular part and like gets paid every week. Well, the cousin just like shows up like once a year and only is paid for that day. Yeah, and unfortunately it's kind of gotten worse for like the middle class of like actors in Hollywood as well too, because like barely any like middle class whatsoever too. If you're lucky enough to be in the 1% as well too, to be able to contract and negotiate for like movie deals and other deals, or like the really rolling TV shows as well and that sort of thing too, then you can like they make it in Hollywood too. But for everyone else, it's difficult to be able to like own a home or just like pay rent as well too. Hence why the Screen Actors Guild strike that happened, as well as the writer's strike. But anyway, I'm jumping over the place as well too. Continuing, I'm gonna continue reading from the Slate's article unless anyone wants to interrupt me and like as the disabled rights lawyers who have this disability, I know this decision and will this is the author or saying, I know that this will devastate my community. People with disabilities are disproportionately likely to experience homelessness. Data reveals that 78% of homeless people report having mental health conditions, and an estimated 52% of like homeless adults in shelters nationwide have a disability. That's not surprising, honestly, considering how ableist this like country is and how like many of our friends, like when it's on disability, the Phoenix has been denied SSI, Joey Fine Leader has been denied SSI. Many people I know at work are just like disabled enough that like they can't really work or work any regular job or work a job on someone else's schedule. Oh, because like they don't know what their work schedule is, but that the body will allow and so the most jobs are just out of the question for them, but yet they're not disabled enough to be able to get on SSI on disability. And even when you are on SSI or SSDI, something like that, at least SSI still has the asset limits of like you cannot have more than $2,000 in your bank account, or else like you will just lose your benefits. And with both SSI and SSDI, if you get married, you lose your benefits, regardless if your like partner's like disabled or not. So if two people disabled and they marry, they lose their benefits because they're mentally not disabled. And both of them are. So that's why many disabled people don't get married. So yeah, there you go. No, there's still problems with marriage equality as well too for disabled people, and that's probably the case that the Supreme Court might take up as well too. Gay marriages as well. Hopefully not. But continuing on from this late article, people with intelligent and developmental disabilities in particular face a housing crisis, with many contributing factors such as the serious lack of safe, affordable, accessible, and integrated housing and significant housing-related discrimination. Um, and outdated public policies and programs unnecessarily segregate people with IDD and community-based programs are frequently underfunded. Likewise, the lack of physical accessibility and affordable housing pushes people with disabilities who rely on social security disabled disability insurance and supplemental security instances, that's like the SJA and SSI, into homelessness. Only 6% of homes nationwide are wheelchair accessible. That's something like contact press shit like she's on the show would like talk about like a lot as well too. That's the big problem with the ADA. Even though it was like the first kind of like act or the thing of like it to give is accessibility to disabled people as well too. It still like has issues and problems because it has no teeth. It has no enforcement mechanism. So like there's still issues with that and needs to be like corrected, but like who knows it's going to be corrected anytime soon because who the fuck cares about disabled people? Even though
Not
like
me. I'm white. Sorry, rich. Sorry, American. Sorry, abled. No, wait,
I'm not rich, but I could
white.
be. Hey, comrade, how about just popping in and to show something like love? Got to get back to work.
It's
I know
okay. I'm
that
glad you're able to stop by.
yeah, you can at least like listen back or like watch back the old shows. You can't comment on the old shows, unfortunately, because like yeah, comments are some reason turned off on our channels. On the Just Alchemy channel. I don't know why. But anyway, privilege, yeah. And it's and then some people's like, I'm rich. No, I'm not, but it could be. It's just like, yeah. So the Supreme Court being ableist, that's for us the entire country is ableist, and like the Slate article goes on, but we're also like at 5 minutes, like towards the end of the show, and trying to like love you all and hope everything is as good as it can be, and with your current endeavors are successful. I'm pretty good, for the most part. Actually, in 2 days will be my birthday. I'll be like 40 in 2 days. I'll
Huh?
be I'll be Steve Carell. I'll be the 40-year-old virgin. It's just a fact. That's what it is. Um, I also going on like a stream later today, just streaming Fortnite as my birthday stream because I don't know if I'm gonna be streaming on like Tuesday or not. But I'm not gonna do anything on my birthday stream. So though some people for like their stream anniversary or their partner affiliate anniversary or their streamer affiliate anniversary would do, or their birthdays would do subathons or like donathons or thronathons or like a special kind of stream with like special rewards or special channel point redeems. But it's just like I know I'm not. It will just like say my early birthday stream, but that's about it. I'm just gonna play Fortnite. That's all I'm going to do. Thank you, Kirak. I don't do anything special for my birthday. I probably should actually mention this on like Facebook because Facebook said, "Hey, it's your birthday. How about you encourage people to like raise money for a special cause on your birthday as well too?" And I did set that up before for like people to give money to like Phoenix, which was successful in some ways too. I'm probably just going to like not do the thing through Facebook. I'm just going to like say, "Hey, if you want to give me a gift to me on my birthday, July 9th, give it to Phoenix instead. Give money to Phoenix instead. That's the gift I want. Give money to Phoenix or Joanna or to like whoever. Phoenix right now gets like they need the most, or they could use it because they still have a mountain of bills that they can't pay because they don't have income. They were denied SSI, and like I don't know, they still in trying to like get back their TDAP, the Temporary Disability Assistance Program, which is only like a couple of $100 a month, if that, as well too, and that's not enough for like all their bills that they have. They have internet that I think they should have internet now. But like, yeah, please give them like money to Phoenix if you have extra money to do, or willing to charge up your credit cards like I do. But only if you're comfortable doing so. And I think that now it's a good time to like wrap up the show. So the Supreme Court decisions, any of them, honestly, suck.
They
The
are Nazis taking the courts just like Nazis did back in the day.
I, I
Yeah,
still wanna get married though one day. I don't know.
Well,
too.
look at you imagining there's going to be a future.
There's not going to be.
But I guess some of us just have to like hope and dream because like it's the only thing that keeps them sane. I don't know. I just like accepted that like well, I think I was just gonna like follow the example from Margaret Killjoy as she like called her podcast "Live as world if the world's dying" because yeah, pretty much the world's dying. Queer people need to start like networking and discussing our like Minecraft strategies. That's all I'll say. Agreed. And also, reminder, July is Disability Pride Month. And no, Queer Pride Month is gone. No, Queer Wrath Month. But yeah. But Isaiah Taylor, what projects are you working on? Is anything do you want to promote? Do you want to promote?
Now that you're
Nah,
done with your spaceman.
nah, I'm just, just doing stuff. I'm just, just doing projects,
Okay.
You're
Are you
working
still are
on
you
your space station.
Yeah,
yes? Will you are you planning to eventually put that on your Instagram, Galactic Cosplay Crafts?
yes.
All right, then I'll like shout out your Instagram once I like find it. And Kieran like is like Trump a viable candidate and like when he's like the convicted felon. One thing like being a convicted felon does not stop you from like running for the president of the United States because Eugene Debs like ran for president in 1912 from prison.
Well, he was never going to be. Well, he was never going to be stopped from running, and now he's never
Yes.
going to be a convicted felon.
Yes. Yes, exactly for Trump. Yeah, he was never going to be stopped from running because he's a convicted felon, and now he's not going to be a convicted felon because he can like get immunity. At least for the January 6th things as well too. Or anything that like he was doing as the purview of being the president. So their Galactic Cosplay Crafts is like I said, it's like Instagram, so you can see his guy Bluefur costume and like everything else and all the models that like is AJ is working on.
But
I'm
the good
Summer
thing,
Geek.
but the good thing is that I'm sorry to interrupt you, Geek, but
No problem.
people say that I should like work for the 250. Sorry, I had a lady sitting in the background.
Mhm.
Someone said that I should work for a props and effects company.
Maybe if you can find a props or effects company to work for, in your area as or too, where it's not like that far to travel to like get there, and hopefully you will still enjoy doing that for 8 hours a day and have to because of like it's like your job as well too. There are times like there are times like I wanted to stream in order to like because I do earn some income from like Twitch streaming at least and like do spare revenues from like my friends, but other times it's like last night I just like no I just want to like well one thing I was playing a game that I couldn't stream because like it's a porn game and adults only game and you can't stream that on Twitch honestly. You can stream mature rated games on like Twitch and sometimes there's some boobage like in Cyberpunk 2077 but like no, the porn game I was playing, like no, you can't play that on Twitch whatsoever. But speaking of Twitch, I'm Summer Geek on Twitch and YouTube, and after I get off this call in like in half an hour, I'm gonna start up my YouTube stream and my Twitch stream and be streaming some Fortnite for my early birthday stream. And I am Summer Geek on all the social medias. That's where you can find out what I'm up to, like, and when I'm streaming next as well too. So Threads, Blue Sky, co-host, Tumblr, and yes, on the hell side, Twitter. And if you want to just find me on Facebook, Jonathan Scott, or just like DM me, and so I don't have a problem like adding you on Facebook if you want to friend me on Facebook as well too. But it is Facebook. And John Brockman, you're part of another podcast, aren't you?
Dungeons and Debacles. We're cops, but it's okay because the devil exists and we're fighting him. It's a lot of fun. It's very different from the well, not too much different from this because I'm there.
You're not spreading your communist propaganda too much on that show, though. Unlike here.
No, I'm definitely not doing that. I would never. I would never derail a storyline because we're cops murdering black people en masse, and I'm so upset that I actually make it a point to ask that we not do that, and then we retcon it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, no, I would never interject my communism into anything.
But heck, a lot of fun. A bit different from this.
A little different from this.
Yeah. Dungeons and Debacles. All right, and don't forget to share the links up page. But also don't forget to like take care of yourselves.
Yes.
Everyone,
take care of each other.
care.
Take care of yourselves. Get lots of sleep, and if you're thirsty, drink water. If you're thirsty, masturbate.
I will. Oh, one thing. I will say I am working on the Asus pumpkin suit cosplay.
Ooh,
So I'm doing that. So it's the bright orange. So I am doing that.
cool.
I just like making things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I could. I don't know. Maybe someday.
Yeah, definitely once communism happens, then you can just like work on whatever you want to work off without a care in the world.
Yep. One day, after everything collapses, we go through a Mad Max phase,
Yeah, yeah,
and then we
hopefully
go through
not,
a
but
couple of
like,
Napoleons, and then another capitalism,
well, yeah,
and then
honestly,
a
yeah,
Warhammer 40K. But 50,000 years from now,
yeah.
we'll have luxury, fully automated luxury gay space communism. All right.
Yep.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye, everyone.